Welcome back to X Games 16. It is time to lock and load some freestyle Moto X. We'll be back at the vert ramp a little bit later with some skateboarding, but first up, pole vaulting on dirt bikes. Well, that's basically what it is. It's a Moto X step up, a high jump, if you will. Cameron Steele, a washed up, never was freestyle motocross rider, joined by Tess Sewell, and of course, 7-time Supercross champion Jeremy McGrath, and a gold medalist here. And we're taking a look this year. The pitch will change a little bit on this landing ramp at the step up. And for more on that, we'll go down to the fourth member of our team here at Moto X. That, of course, is the lovely Miss Erin Bates.
As the great Sir Isaac Newton discovered, what goes up must come down. And with that being said, this year's landing is a lot more forgiving than what it's been in years past. It stands 13 feet tall, which is a foot taller than last year. It's got more of a downward pitch, and the deck is 4 feet longer and 4 feet wider, which means it's going to make for a little bit softer landing and quite possibly a little bit more incentive for these riders to take this competition to all new heights. Gentlemen, back to you.
Well, thank you, Erin. I think that's very optimistic when you say a softer landing. Jeremy McGrath, an X Games champion, gold medalist here in the step up. When you do this, you are facing the landing purely is what you're thinking about.
Well, yeah, you're challenging yourself. Right now, the competition starts at 26 feet high. They're not thinking too much about it. But I'm telling you what, when the thing gets up to 31, 32 feet, you're having a battle with yourself to figure out, hey, how high can I go and land this thing safely?
Safe is the key. You have to ride away for it to count. Tess, break down the rules here at Moto X Step Up as we take a look at our first rider from Cherry Valley, California, 25-year-old Miles Richmond.
Well, luckily, the rules are relatively simple. Get over the bar to advance. Miles Richmond doing that very easily at 26 feet, our starting height. And interestingly enough, Miles is on the two-stroke motorcycle, Jeremy, so is that going to be a disadvantage for him?
Well, you know, we've seen, I've done it personally on the 250 and the 450. Now, most of these guys here riding 450s today, but as we've seen, Ronnie Renner, he's won it on both. The 250cc bike is a little bit lighter, probably a little less power, not as easy to get off the start line. I mean, you have 25-foot run-in, but the 450 is going to come off the line a little bit stronger.
And this right here, this is simply the rider known as Ox. He is a big fella.
Yes, he is.
He's from San Clemente. That's right, part of the San Clemente Mafia. That's where I'm from.
That's right. Your crew,
he's actually very close to me. So Jeff Cargola, his given name. So 2 riders up and over. You get 2 chances at each height if you need them. Bo Bamberg from Gresham, Oregon. You'll see him a little bit later in the best whip competition. Bo is simply one of the baddest men to ever get onto a dirt bike.
Well, this is Potter going up and over now, and you see the different styles there of Bamberg and Potter. They're just running at this thing straight, so obviously 26 feet isn't much of a challenge for these guys right now, is it?
No, I don't think they're thinking a lot about it right now. I think the very first jump, they like to get out of the way, get the butterflies done, and they're probably not thinking about it much.
2-time gold medalist Matt Byton. He will run just before Ronnie Renner stalls the bike. Now, does something like that, Jeremy, take you out of your game just a little bit, especially on the 4-strokes? These sometimes aren't easy to start.
Yeah, I think it's his first jump. He's probably, like I said, he's probably a little nervous. I think he'll be all right.
Well, he's already taken a dirt sample here today just in practice, so he's been down. He knows how bad this ramp actually feels when you land wrong.
Let us not forget he had some bike problems last year, and wow, laying it up a little bit. You know, it worries me a little bit when they don't go at it. You know, when it's at a lower height, they take an easy run in, and sometimes it looks like they're going to clip. And we've seen riders in the past actually clip at that lower height. And Jeremy, we got a good look at this reverse starting gate, so to speak. You want to explain it to us as last year's gold medalist Ronnie Renner gets locked into it?
Yeah, well, obviously the starting gate they have, it's got to be reversed in a motocross start. They give them a certain amount of run, 25 feet, and they want the wheel back up against it. So obviously you want as much room as you can get. You know, you have a good point there saying that you should charge it 100% every time. If you don't, you could clip the bar and be out.
So we have 6 riders have gone, taken 1 run and cleared it. That is how you're supposed to do it. Moto X Step Up, our pole vaulting of dirt bikes, so to speak. Matt Byton, as we head off to commercial, we will settle this. We are back, people. This is the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California, and this is X Games 16, where we are featuring the Mobile One Step Up competition, and this is Miles Richmond. no stranger to this comp, but he is looking for his first ever medal. They only give away the gold in the step-up test. Sometimes I'm kind of bummed for the guys, but I understand it. Only the victor gets the spoils.
Yeah, that's correct.
I know, it's really all about the guy that goes highest. I mean, there is truly a victor in this competition. And it's like racing, Jeremy, the guy who gets across the line. But look at this. There is a great look at the takeoff.
Yeah, these guys look like they've been working on it a little bit earlier. Had to work on the lip a little before the competition. Looks like they got 2 or 3 good lines working on that thing, which will be important when they get to a higher height.
As we see Ox getting into the starting gate, we're at 28 feet. We have moved the bar up 2 feet from where they started. Wow. Wow, Ox.
Oh, Ox.
Oh, he rode away from it, though.
Nice whip.
That's all that matters.
He may have taken out some cables and a cameraman or two, but that's a legitimate ride away, Cameron.
It definitely is. And as we take another look at Ox, Jeremy, what about his style?
Ox is no short on style there. That was looking real good. I think maybe he's getting prepped for the higher heights, but he cleared that thing with ease. Little's rough lander there.
Oh, lucky.
And our next rider, this will be Bo Bamberg. They have 2 attempts at every height if they need them. And Bamberg is going to clip the bar at 28 feet.
All right, Cam, that's exactly what you were talking about there. I don't think he gave it his all on the takeoff. And look what happens. He clips the bar.
We talked about the style that Bamberg is using as opposed to, say, Ox that we saw before. He's not whipping that bike. He's just running straight at it.
Take another look at it. Just a straight-up approach, but just never really got enough forward drive, Jeremy. He had the height.
Yeah, he had the height, the ease. But you know what happens is when these guys are taking off, if they don't hit the face hard enough, they're not going to carry enough momentum forward. So that, you know, in turn, they end up hitting the bar on the way down. He obviously thought he had it cleared.
And last year, the winning height was 34 feet, so you can only imagine, not just going high, but transferring out as well. It's a very precise science, if I dare say, when we're talking about freestyle motocross step-up.
Yeah, it's very tricky, because what happens is,
wow.
Yeah, there he cleared it with ease.
I think he got a little whisker of it on the way down. In fact, the bar is still bouncing. But he has cleared, so he will move on to the next height. And I'm very excited to see this guy, Sean White.
Yeah.
A little time off thinking about the Olympics last year from X Games or this year. We'll see if we're going to check out a 1080, which, you know, he's tried a number of times, hasn't nailed it yet. And we're looking forward here at the X Games.
He's tried, what, over 50 times to land that thing? It's unbelievable. I'm sure he's going to land it tonight. Speaking
of landing, you have to land and right away, for the most part. Todd Potter, an expert dirt bike rider, recently switched to the 4-stroke for his freestyle routine. A gold medalist last year at Best Whip, which we'll see just a little bit later, which the fans will be voting on via text message.
Yeah, that's a cool comp. Potter cleared the bar that time really easy. Back to my point about the step-up is, you know, the trick to this thing is getting enough speed to carry enough forward momentum to get the downside. They changed the jump this year. They changed the landing. It should be a little easier. Maybe the guys that go a little higher, like Byton there.
Now, Byton, when you watch him come up the face, he was really nose high, and that's something that really becomes critical later because it's hard to bring the front end down sometimes. Let's take another look at it.
Yeah, that's the point. When you get up to a certain height and you stop moving, it's very, very hard to bring the front wheel down because you have no forward momentum.
And of course, it's going to be pretty tragic ending if the bike comes down back end first. It's just no, and that 4-stroke really is heavy. You know, we talked about it before, but the penalties at least, what, 25 pounds over the 2-stroke bike?
Oh yeah, it's very heavy, and you know, the inertia with the 4-stroke is a lot different. So that's another factor in trying to get the bike leveled out over the bar. And we might see some of that come into play at the end here.
5 total medals for Ronnie Renner. See if he can earn another tonight, and this is child's play for Renner.
Yeah, Renner's thinking no problem.
Renner and Ox really with a heavy whip style going over the bar, so we'll see who will make it happen. We've gone to 28 feet. We'll be raising the bar here at Moto X Step Up. When we come back, 6 riders have made it up and over. We're looking for only 1 rider when we get to the tallest height. We'll see who it is when we return. Thanks, Dari. Yes, we are ready to do this thing complete. This step up, of course, with our best whip. And, of course, later on, best trick. Right now, Mobile 1 step up competition is underway. 6 riders have cleared the bar at 28 feet. We have moved to 29.5 feet. And that means it is time for the top of our running order, so to speak, and Miles Richmond.
Clears it very easily. Miles looking good out there. Obviously, he's got it under control. He throws a nice whip over the bar, which is probably going to come into play as they get to a higher height, but looking good so far.
And we'll talk a little bit more about the 2-stroke later on that he's riding. Right now, Jeff Ox Cargola. A little known fact about Ox is he is actually leading the score points, the Baja Racing Series. He's part of the Johnny Campbell Racing Factory Honda team, which Jeremy, if I'm not mistaken, makes him teammates with you at Factory Honda.
Yes, he is. Yep, I'm not on the race team all the way. I'm in charge of doing the research and development with those guys at Team Honda, which is a great position for me, and so Ox and I are teammates.
Oh. I think pushing it just a little too hard there, and if he's whipping it that hard, it's going to carry him over to the left, and as we see, this landing's just not wide enough for him to do that.
Well, I think you're right, Tess. He whipped it really, really hard there, and I think he's probably pushing the envelope a little hard at this point. He's obviously got the height.
Oh, the height. The height is no problem.
Well, I think it's important that you know, that the fans know, that you probably don't need to whip it that hard.
So that is a failed attempt because he didn't ride away.
So now they're going to let Bamberg go, who also hits the bar. Now, because Ox hasn't ridden a lot of step-up competitions, he may not know he needs to go again, and maybe he may not need to go again. Maybe they're saying because he landed on the bike that he doesn't have to go again. I'm not 100% sure. But Tess, you wrote the original rules for the step-up competition.
Well, it looks like to me they're straightening his bike out.
So that's true, but they normally wouldn't send another rider behind him. Correct, Tess?
Yeah. Well, normally he'd get his second attempt, so we'll have to find out what happened there with the bike. But again, a problem for Bamberg coming down on the pole, and you can see you just need to kiss that thing with the tire and it's going to bounce off.
Well, now we're looking at Ox, and of course, factory Honda mechanic Eric Siriton is here working on his bike. So he's got the big guns in the house to help him out, but I'm not sure if I think that they will have Ox go again. But right now, it is Bo Bamberg on his second attempt. If he misses here, he is out. And Bamberg is out of the competition because Richmond has cleared this height at 29.5 feet. Bamberg on 2 hits is out, of course, because someone has cleared the height. And Bamberg, as we said, an amazing dirt bike rider. We will see him in the best whip competition just a little bit later. Let's take a look. What happened, Jeremy?
Well, it looks like he probably needed to use the whip, little bit of a whip, to get over that bar. It looked like he was taking it a little lightly to me.
And funny because the guy's got just one of the most incredible whips in the universe, and yet he runs just straight at that thing and hits it almost every time he went over.
Yeah, I agree. We're going to see that later, but he probably needed to use a little extension of the body, kind of do a little something more there.
Unfortunate for Bamberg. We'll see him a little bit later in the best whip, but he is eliminated at 29.6 feet. So we'll wait for Cargola, who is coming up next. And we talked about him having a tech here, Jeremy. How important is it to have someone working on your bike? When you have a little crash like that, I mean, straightening out the bike, it's hard to get back to the start line.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you need some help there, that's good to have a mechanic around for sure.
You always did. And Cargola.
Whoa. Wow. Man, when he went off the takeoff, it didn't look like he was going to make it.
It was really interesting because you could hear him rev the bike before he took off. I wonder if he got wheel spin as he was heading towards the takeoff, like he didn't have enough power.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but you know what? With him throwing the bike sideways and getting over the bar, obviously it was just a little hard to get that thing under the control on the landing.
But at least he did go to the right to try and counteract that whipping down to the left.
It looked like to me there was a little bit of a kicker in the takeoff, huh?
Yeah, like a little soft spot maybe there on the right-hand side because he decided to take a different line. So That's a risk that definitely didn't pay off for Jeff Cargola. Oh, he hit the deck on the way down. He didn't even hit the landing.
Yeah, kind of cased it a little bit. Looked like what happened is when he landed short, one hand pops off.
See that?
Boom.
Flat. Oh, yeah.
He lands on the flat part of the knuckle, blows his hand off, and then continues on down into a little bit of a soil sample.
Yeah, a little bit of a soil sample. What happens at home, you guys, is if you're up that high and you end up landing on the knuckle or say the flat part, or we call it casing, oftentimes if you're not holding on tight enough, your hand flies off, and that's what happened there.
X Games 16 continues on ESPN tomorrow. First at 2 Eastern, see what Shaun White will unveil in the skateboard best trick. Also, finals coverage of the BMX Park and Ryan Sheckler Skateboard Street. Then at 7 Eastern, see the drivers take off in rally car racing and at the debut of Super Rally. X Games 16 on ESPN tomorrow. And 2 riders eliminated right now here in the step-up. Let's take another look at Cargola's landing. This is vicious, and this is only 29.5 feet, Jeremy.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You know, it's getting to a point now where these guys are definitely having to think about it a couple times and take it very seriously once they're up there.
And Ox actually getting in. Brian Deegan, his friend with the Metal Militia, not riding here at Step Up because he is concentrating on the rally sports. So Ox getting in, and that's exactly why I think Brian didn't compete, is because he really wants to be focused on the rally racing, which we'll see tomorrow at X Games.
There is so much risk in this sport. You've got to just think, here's the most simple thing to think about. If you jump out of a 3-story window with a motorcycle, that's what these guys are doing every time they attempt it.
There goes Potter. Up and over, no problem.
What's interesting to me about watching, of course, I've known forever. He and Ox are very close friends of mine. But Potter, who is the king of the whip, doesn't whip the bike when he's going up and over.
Same with Bo.
And taking a look here, Shaun White in the vert ramp. Doing work, and we will have him coming up a little bit later along with all the other skaters. And just amazing, the technical aspect of what skateboarding brings. And Shaun taking a little sample of his own there of the vert ramp, but back here at the Mobile One step-up competition. So far, Richmond and Potter have cleared. This is Byton's attempt, and he is a 2-time gold medalist here.
Yeah.
You guys had a heck of a battle, Jeremy.
Oh, yeah. Back in, I think it was 04, Byton and myself came down to the final. We each had, I think, 12 attempts at the final one. Byton's shoulder popped out a couple times. The guy's a hero.
He definitely is. For more, let's go down to Aaron Bates.
Matt Byton has an exact replica of this pole vault setup at his hometown. He said coming in practice is painful, Aaron, and he's only put in about 5 practice runs at home. He said he's going to try to smooth it out, give it everything he got, but he's hoping that every one of these riders are going to eliminate themselves, so he'll be the one left standing with gold.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Oftentimes that happens. These guys get up there and they miss before the guy goes behind them, and essentially they're out of the competition. So
he's tough. He's just got to find out if Renner's going to clear this, which he should do. He should be pretty comfortable at getting over this one.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Ronnie Renner.
Wow.
I'm good at the step up. Just for the record, MCU Byton, 17 attempts in 2004.
Wow, 17 attempts. I knew it was a lot.
The Mobile One Step Up continues. Again, we will be crowning the champion with a gold medal because that's what it is all about. 2 are out. This is Cargola hitting the deck. Bamberg is also headed out, but we'll see him later. The best whip. Simply amazing is the best way to put Shaun White. I mean, from ESPYs to Olympic gold and, of course, X Games gold. Tonight, we will see the skateboarders in their vert competition as well as in best trick. Right now, it's the Mobile One Step Up. Cameron Steele, Jeremy McGrath, Tess Sewell, and of course Aaron Bates bringing you all the coverage. This is Miles Richmond. 30 feet 6 inches. Wow. Not a problem. And now that we've eliminated a couple riders, we have 4 riders still in. Richmond is clear. He is the only rider on a 2-stroke, Jeremy. Take us through the differences other than just the sound, of course.
Yeah, to you guys at home, what the difference is, the 2-stroke's probably 20 to 30 pounds lighter. Maybe 20 pounds lighter than the 450. The 4-stroke Two strokes probably a little bit harder to get off the line, not as much traction, but the bike's a little lighter when you want to whip it over the bar. Now, the 450 has all that torque, good low power, a lot of power to get off the line. As we can see Todd Potter clearing the bar, but that's the major differences between the two bikes.
So obviously the weight, that's a big factor when you're trying to move that bike sideways and manhandle it around as we go higher and higher here. And one of the biggest things we keep talking about is the fact that you need to get that front wheel down once you get over the bar. And with all that mass and moving parts in the engine, it's got to be harder.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely hard. And it's the higher they go, it gets much harder.
Biden, wow, nose high. It looked like a big hit on his brake pedal, trying to bring the front down. Maybe you can explain that technique as well. Maybe we'll be able to see that in a replay. But it didn't actually look like he needed to use it, but out of reaction, he did that.
Well, the greatest part about for him so far is he's not up to his highest point, so he has a little room to work with. Taps the back brake, brings the front down, and what happens when you tap the rear brake, the wheel stops spinning and brings the front end over. Gets the bike flattened out, makes it a little bit easier to land.
And you can see that with that foot stomping on the back brake, the right-hand side there.
Oh, yeah. When it gets higher, it's going to be a little bit more risky.
And Biden, as we said, 2 gold medals. Those are all the decorations he has from the X Games. Renner has 5 total medals, 2 gold here in the step-up. At this point, I'm going to say Renner doesn't look like he's even broken a sweat.
No, I'm going to say you're right. He looks very comfortable out there.
But of all the competitors, Renner actually walked away from the start area there. He walked all the way in front of where we're sitting to the side of the landing, and he watched the other guys ride. So he is the strategist trying to figure out how everyone else is getting over.
We're going to be moving the bar up from the 30.6. Last year at 35 feet, no one could get over, but it was a 34-foot winning height of Ronnie Renner. He actually tied with Ricky Carmichael, the greatest of all time, at 34 feet. No one can get over 35, but I'm told here tonight they have a surefire tiebreaker technique test, so we won't have a double gold like we did last year.
We will have a gold medal winner. 31.6. Wow, it's getting up there. Okay, what's going to happen now is...
When does it get serious, Jeremy?
It's pretty serious now. I mean, if you look at Miles there on the start, he's looking up at that bar going, man, how in the heck am I going to get over that thing?
How high does that look from your perch on top of your motorcycle when you just look straight up in the sky?
And while we're at it, Tess, let's explain why it's measured as it is. It's not measured just from the top of the landing.
It's measured all of the way down to the floor, so it's basically 3 stories from the ground. That's where you're going.
And the reason that is because the landing can be anywhere, and a lot of times we see guys virtually landing in the flats or at the bottom of that landing ramp. So we're going to go to 32 feet 6 inches, and that's from the ground. So you know when you're dropping away, Jeremy, that's some serious business.
When you're at the start line looking up at the bar, I promise you're like, there's no way I can make it over the bar. And once you hit the takeoff, like we said, you have to give it everything you got to even get up that high. And I think some of that whip technique's really going to come into play. Miles Richmond coming up.
Nothing to lose, 0 medals. Miles, the most excellent competitor.
Snaps the bar.
Now he hits it on the way up. That's a little different than what we saw from Bamberg. Ox never hit the bar, he just crashed. But on the way up, hitting the front tire, why?
Well, here's what's going to happen. Miles is going to go back. What he tried to do is he tried to flatten out the bike, get the front end down too early. So this is where it becomes risky. He's going to have to keep the nose up in sort of a looped out position, go up higher, get it over the bar, and then bring it down.
In both 2003 and 2006, Miles Richmond tied for 4th place, which is where he would be if he went out right now and everybody else cleared this height. So I don't think Miles wants another 4th place, does he?
He definitely doesn't. But this is a big jump. I mean, we went up 2 feet, and that is it's a huge step to make. And now everyone's going to have to kind of adjust what they're doing because the arc of the jump may take you under the bar, which is what happened to Miles.
Let me be clear. He gets another try. If he hits the bar, he's not eliminated.
Not yet.
Right? Until someone else clears this height.
That's correct.
Thank you.
That is correct. Let's hope he makes it here. We're shaping up for a good battle.
Now, Jeremy, when you first had the opportunity to ride the step up, it sounded like a good idea until you saw it, or?
No, actually, it was a great idea for the first couple years. Same problem. Yeah, it was a great idea. I mean, I've enjoyed doing step up, and you know, before I ever competed in the competition, I was like, man, that looks so fun. And then got in there, had some good battles with Byton, got lucky enough to get a gold medal, and battled a little bit last year with Carmichael and those guys. But it's just, the landing's just treacherous.
So you see again, Miles coming up. You can see the front of the bike bounce. That rebound of the suspension, the front wheel actually then just tucks up underneath the bar. Look at that, just tags it cleanly. No chance of getting over that one.
Yeah, you see what I'm talking about there, though? When they show the slow-mo, he's starting to flatten it out, get it sideways, and bring the nose in too soon.
Next up, Miles Richmond will watch alongside Bo Bamberg there, who's also eliminated. That's Miles' dad in the middle. This is Todd Potter. Now, Todd, he's a vet. He's got 4 total medals. He won last year's best whip competition, which I think he's very proud of. Oh, little sideways coming out of the chute. Oh.
No, Todd's a phenomenal dirt bike rider. He can ride a motorcycle, that guy. He's got some natural talent.
As he's proving with a little nose wheel.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. Over the years, I've said that about a number of riders, whether I'm announcing the motocross, the supercross, the freestyle. Jeremy McGrath, of course, always in that name list. And you can see he looked like he got squirrely there, and I'll finish my thought in a second, but looks like he got squirrely there going up the face.
Yeah, well, you know, this thing is really high. It's hard to get, I mean, you can't do a burnout when you take off. You need to let the clutch out real slow enough where you get all that traction, because you need that mile per hour by the time you hit the face so you can get high. And there's a fine line between doing it right and doing it wrong.
And to finish my thought, I've mentioned Jeremy McGrath's style and ability over many years as probably the best, one of the best. Okay, I'll go that way. But for you to say that about Potter, that's a huge compliment.
Potter is a phenomenal dirt bike rider. I mean, the guy can ride, and watching him ride is impressive.
And we'll see more freestyle Moto X or Moto X competition tonight. Right now, the Mobile One step-up competition has seen Todd Potter fail at 2 attempts at this height. Now, Miles Richmond has also failed at 2 attempts at this height, but the bad news, well, let's first go with the good news. They're not eliminated until someone clears the bar.
Yeah.
The bad news is they have 2 guys that have 2 step-up gold medals still to come to try to eliminate them. Matt Byton, and of course, Ronnie Renner.
Well, you know what? I'm sure that Potter and Richmond are both saying, man, why did they raise the bar up 2 feet? But that's all right. They're not eliminated yet. They didn't make the bar, but someone's got to make it before they're out of here.
Matt Byton from Minden, Nevada, part of the NVHC, right? Nevada Hardcore.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, it's pretty windy where he lives, so I'm surprised he even gets that much time to practice. He's over. So,
wow.
Richmond and Potter are now out of the competition.
And listen to him going crazy.
Listen, 32.6 is no small feat. He just did a great job of getting over that thing.
You had a quick look there at Richmond, who the line now goes through his name.
Wow, look at that. Look at that. Right up that line. Got a lot of compression.
Just sucked that thing up at the end,
I mean,
too.
He did a lot of preload, what we call is weighting the foot pegs on the way up the lip, pushing down, getting a lot of pop off the suspension, and then he did, like you say, Des, at the top, extended the bike out, made a nice run.
But here's the big moment. If Renner can't clear this bar, then it's done.
Let's talk a little bit about Renner. Now, he's on the KTM 450, but he's ridden all kinds of different bikes along the way when it comes to step up.
Yeah, you know, it's funny with Renner. Last year, he's like, oh, yeah, I'm riding 450, and then he busts out the 2-stroke. Wow.
And I would say we have a good old-fashioned shootout here.
We have as a competition.
Oh, man.
Take another look, Jeremy. You've won the gold medal here. Obviously, Ronnie's won a couple of them. It seems like he's got the style and the comfort. A little bit of a harsh landing, but not bad.
Yeah, but, you know, he's not worried about the landing. His style going up the takeoff, getting the whip. I mean, it's perfection. Look at that. He can still go another foot, he would have cleared another foot easy right there.
And that's 32.5 feet. And quickly, let's check in on Renner with Aaron.
Ronnie Renner spent a couple of days with Chelsea Johnson, who is an Olympic pole vault gold medalist, and she explained to him the similarities between step up and track and field pole vault. It's all about the approach, the takeoff, and the landing, but the biggest advice that she gave him was how to transfer that energy mid-flight. You don't have to be the craziest. It's all about technique, and Ronnie Renner says he feels better than he has ever felt. He is in it to win it. We'll soon find out.
Wow, so now we're learning from Olympic athletes on how to do step up at X Games.
Well, we just talked about Olympic athlete Shaun White coming up a little bit later, right after this Mobil 1 step-up competition. The run-in, Jeremy, you're looking at, you can see the defined lines. And taking a look back, this Mobil 1 step-up flashback here with Chelsea Johnson, who Aaron was just talking about. This doesn't look easy in any way, shape, or form.
No.
I don't think he's winning the Olympics anytime soon.
I'm not even sure that's helping him for step up.
Oh, calling your shot, MC. I like that. Maybe mentally. Because mentally is a part of this.
No. I think she get some great advice, but him doing pole vault physically himself without his motorcycle is probably, I'm not sure.
It looked like he was good for a height of about 36 inches, possibly.
He tried there. He tried to push the bike forward, suck it up, and really kept the power going on that back wheel.
All right, now this is what we're talking about earlier, Cam and Tess. These guys are getting up to a point where they stall in the air. And it's very hard to get the bike flicked over to the flat position and land this thing. When you get up and you lose all your momentum and you're at your highest point, it's very hard to change the angle of the bike.
And of course, keeping the power going to the back wheel, actually just keeping the throttle open. He's trying to throw it forward, right?
Yeah, he's trying to throw it forward, but when you actually stall out in the air, I mean, you need a little momentum to change the attitude of the motorcycle. And what happens when you get high like that, it's like you're just a falling bag of rocks.
This is the same height, actually, you and Byton got crazy at. 33.5 feet was the final height in 06, 17-run battle. How'd that feel, Jeremy?
You know what? It was awesome. The funny part about that, it was such a long competition. You know, the bikes got really hot. There's no air. Bikes were making noises, blowing up. It was a tough competition.
And that was back in 2004, of course. And Byton has hit the bar. But as we've learned, 2 attempts and hitting both does not mean you're eliminated, but Renner is one man you wouldn't want to have following you.
No, exactly. Renner's very accomplished at the high jump, step up here. So is Byton, for that matter.
Oh, it really is, but he just couldn't drive the bike far enough forward. Watch this, it stalls, and there it's just falling out of the air. There's nothing he can do to move it.
Yeah. So in my opinion there, he probably left the front end a little high, a little late in the air, and didn't get it rotated over enough, so he lost his forward momentum. It's interesting because Byton and Renner have 2 different styles, and we've known Byton in the past to do the whip style, but tonight that jump right there, he didn't really use that style.
Well, Ronnie Renner, right now, he can do it. Gold medal. This could be his 3rd step-up gold medal, 6th total medal at the X Games.
Yeah.
Next year, everybody ships themselves off to an Olympic training facility before they come here.
Yeah. Taking step up to new levels, Olympic trainers.
Just for the record, if he hits both times, then we go to a runoff.
Then we go into single elimination. And
if you guys look at the monitor here, you see where Renner's lining up. He's going to go into that line crooked and whip it up. And see the middle line there?
I see it.
It's kind of on angle.
Nice.
So he's going to pick that line. He's going for whip style for sure. Oh! All right,
so that didn't work. Evidently.
Didn't work at all. Yeah. Did it look like to you guys he didn't get off the line?
It
good?
didn't look like he got a good jump. It looked like maybe he wasn't settled.
Yeah, like for some reason he didn't look. I don't know.
No, he was kind of standing up, sitting down.
Yeah.
I mean, the body position was weird.
I mean, he
knew he was cooked too on the way up.
He wouldn't have. I mean, that one. Yeah, probably something went wrong there because I'm not sure he would have cleared the last height with that takeoff there. That was a tough one.
Oh, with way underneath.
Well, with the step-up competition, or anytime you're hitting a cliff jump or anything, as the line changes a little bit, it just throws you off every time you go. It's always just a little bit different. It's not like a ramp. The dirt does break away. The rut does change. A little pebble falls in here, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's for sure. I mean, it's constantly changing them. And once again, with the 450s having all that power, in the takeoff, there could be getting a little hole. There could be getting a kicker. And, maybe that's what we saw there.
He's checking his bars there as if he's got a little bit of a problem. So I'm banging it against the ramp.
Well, sometimes what happens with that test is when you're cranked out to the lock, like meaning the bike handlebars are turned over to the steering lock, when you land, sometimes your wheel twists a little bit. And so maybe he was having to straighten the bars out a little bit.
And maybe some of you have caught his antics on the quarter pipe.
Oh, yeah.
Airing it out. He's not afraid of height. 63 feet 5 inches out on a quarter pipe. Chicago, July 25th, 2009. He holds the record. So, pretty amazing when you talk about that. And you're a guy that likes, you got the style, the whip style, you know, obviously the step up. What about the quarter pipe, Jeremy? I mean, that's a huge commitment to air out that high.
Yeah. It's great because Renner sees that something like that, goes for something so cool.
He sees it a little different.
Yeah, he's envisioning some cool stuff, and he's getting to do that. All right,
Mr. Rules Rider, Mr. Tessul. 2 riders have hit this height. Now what?
What happens now is the guys get one more run at this.
At the same run-in distance and same height of the bar.
One more, and then if they fail at that one more, then we actually move the run-in back. So, I mean, again, that was a pretty obvious fail for Ronnie. Not even close.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
Jeremy,
what it looked like.
1 run each. Both will get a shot regardless.
Yep.
If they don't make it, they'll move the run-in back. That adds a lot of jeopardy because there's a lot more you can do with an extra 5 feet of run-in.
Yeah, but you got to remember that the height is 33.6. This is the point where these guys are freaking out. I mean, I know they're some of the best riders in the world, but trust me, they are going, man, this is that fine line of them figuring out how much they can do with taking a safe landing. Now, 5 feet back, if it ends up going 5 feet back with the starting gate, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to use that 5 feet to your advantage and hit it harder.
But you might line up a little smoother.
Well, you might have a little more time to get set up on your pegs, but 5 feet back doesn't necessarily mean you're going to give it that much more throttle. Because trust me, these guys are thinking about it. This is a scary height right here.
Now they're both looking for the ideal line that they can take up that face. You can see there's all kinds of different ruts that are dug in there. Some of them are dug in by the motorcycles. Some are actually dug in by hand. The guys were working that thing with the shovels earlier on.
Yeah, it looks like, guys, the middle lip or the line that Ronnie Renner's taken's developing a little bit of a hole.
Do you think Byton thought he was eliminated? Did you think that did you think mentally maybe he thought Ronnie was going to get over that?
I think he had to. Yeah, I think he probably.
We all did, right?
Yeah, we all did.
Oh, I mean, Renner just looked so comfortable till that point.
Yeah. I mean, those were really the only 2 mistakes we saw from him the whole competition so far. We know Byton can get the height here. He's just got to get distance.
There are people freaking out in the Staples Center here, just jumping up and down. But he hasn't won it yet.
Okay. Let's take another look before we talk about the possibilities. This is huge, Jeremy.
Huge. Huge. He had a 1.5 feet to spare.
And dropping down.
Just a little catch on the way down. Oh!
Wow.
Ever so close. Now, Renner will get one shot. If he misses, Byten is your gold medalist for 2010. And that'd be odd because his name's Byten and it's 2010. But if Renner clears, then what happens, Tess?
If Renner clears, we go back to another height. We actually raise the bar again.
I think what's awesome, did you see Byten there just up the energy? Did you see that start? It was like he was in a race.
He was just like a man renewed, though. I mean, the defeat that we saw when he thought Renner was going to make it, and now he's like, this is it. I can really do this.
And there's a great shot right behind Ox and Byten. Mike Metzger, the godfather of freestyle motocross, who we'll be seeing in the speed and style competition on Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see Mike back in some competition.
Yeah, definitely. Great motorcycle talent. And
so right now, I just got to say, Renner is spending a lot of time figuring out the line, setting himself up. Is there a chance that you just psych yourself out by doing that instead of just going?
100%. Yes, there is. I mean, do you think Renner really thought Byten was going to clear that? I'm not sure he did. I'm not sure he did. The table's now been reversed because Renner had his shot right there.
If he misses, Matt Byten gets his third gold medal. If he clears, we continue to run on.
Yeah. All right, here it is. He better get a good one.
Will he take a different style? No!
Wow.
There it is.
Well, guys, I have to say that Renner gave it a good effort there.
He did give it a good effort, but you know,
not
the
quite
different
enough.
style. Byten went straight up and over. Renner tried whipping, hit it again. But Matt Byten's going to take the gold.
It's funny how we've been talking about the whip style we thought was going to be the way to go when we saw Ox and Renner doing it, and also Miles Richmond, but Byten straight up and over handles it and takes home the gold medal.
Oh, yeah.
At how he did it.
Gosh, look at this. I mean, that's Renner. Okay. I got to say, Renner was a better effort that time than the last two attempts.
So Renner clipping it and putting it down. That was the difference maker.
Gosh.
Ronnie Renner, 2 golds. He leaves without his third, but Matt Byten from Nevada will bring home his third gold medal. Let's go down to Aaron, who's with Matt.
The crowd goes absolutely wild for Matt Byten as he takes home his third gold medal in step up. Matt, at a certain point, you're sitting on the sidelines. You actually thought that Ronnie Renner had taken this. What does this mean to you to take this over once again?
Man, it means everything. You know, every year it's a dogfight. Like, it's no joke. I mean, these guys out here are amazing. Everybody makes it look easy, but it's not. That landing sucks. I got a chiropractor massage appointment lined up for Monday.
All that hard work paid off. You had actually had a replica set up a pole vault at home. How much a difference did that help bringing that in to the X Games 16?
Oh, it makes a world of a difference. I got my friend Paul Mudd at home and Mike Metzger here. They let me build some jumps. They helped me, and I can't say enough, man. Practicing makes perfect, you know, that's a long time saying, and I just want to thank all my awesome sponsors, Arma, Energy Mix, O'Neill, Mob Syndicate, Blur. I got them all, man. I got amazing sponsors. I'm so stoked. O'Neill, I got amazing sponsors. I'm crazy, and the best friends and family. You guys are nuts. I know you guys are going nuts everywhere. Let's have some fun. Woo!
Congratulations once again. Gold medalist Matt Byten. Cam, back to you. The celebration is on.
Thank you, Aaron. Well, there you have it. Matt Byten